1927, at the 5th Solvay Conference on Physics in Brussels, Belgium, a new proposal of mind over matter was admitted to try to resolve inexplicable behaviors on quantum mechanics. With the greatest minds in physics attending, such as Einstein, Pauli, Dirac, Bohr, Heisenberg, Curie, de Broglie, Schrödinger, just to name a few, the subject of consciousness and the atomic world was at hand. Heisenberg and Bohr approached Einstein with a new theory that the minds of the researchers were affecting the results of the experiments. The mathematics of predictability were not repeatable and reliable enough to explain what was happening. Einstein could not accept this at first because it violated all mathematical models. Years later, he admitted it was happening. Einstein said, "Anyone who becomes seriously involved in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that there is a spirit manifest in the laws of the universe, a spirit vastly superior to that of man." A spirit is not a mechanical force like gravity, electromagnetism, or the strong and weak forces. A spirit is consciousness. So for Einstein to have made this great transformation can only mean that something convinced him that it was really happening, that the universe is alive, and we are part of it. Did great powers hide the truth about what was discovered at the conference because they knew they could not control us if we knew the secret powers of our minds and collective consciousness? All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force. We must assume behind this force is the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics.
What is he talking about?
He was talking about quantum physics, but it really just sounds like he was talking about, well, dark matter.
And bam, don't be scared. It's that simple. The universe sent it to you like that. Say it. Don't be scared. Even if it might be wrong. There's no wrong questions. There's no wrong answers, man. You come here to get the information. So even if you might be wrong, say it. Because it might be right, just like you were. This dude was talking about this in the early 1900s and didn't know what he was talking about. He said all matter exists by virtue of a force. Let's listen to that again.
States not control us if we knew the secret powers of our minds and collective consciousness. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force. We must assume behind this force is the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics.
The word matrix only means womb. Just so you guys you're not confused by that word. So matrix is womb, right? So he said this force, this consciousness is the matrix of all matter, is the womb of all matter, meaning all matter is born and produced within this field of force. And so now that helps you to understand what he's talking about?
Yeah, basically he's saying all is all.
Right. And this force that he didn't even understand back in the day, but they knew it existed because there's evidence of it. But they didn't know what it was. It's that dark energy. Yeah. Like the Yoda and Star Wars.
Right.
They were talking, again, they've been on this for the longest time, trying to let you know what was what. The force, it surrounds us, it binds us. Not this crude matter, are we? And Yoda told you a long time ago.
The secret of mind over matter was known 18 years before the first atomic blast at Trinity Site, New Mexico, July 22nd, 1945.
Hear that again.
18 of all matter, Max Planck, the father of quantum physics. The secret of mind over matter was known 18 years before the first atomic blast at Trinity Site, New Mexico, July 22nd, 1945.
So the secret of mind over matter was known
18 years before that atomic blast.
They knew what your ass could do 18 years before that. Why you start developing bullshit ass weapons? Why you think? Hold on, here we go.
Our current science cannot handle consciousness. Although some people like to say quantum physics can explain consciousness, the fact of the matter is that physics cannot deal with an experiment where a human being is involved in the loop. This goes back to the way quantum physics was originally built back in the 19-teens and 20s and 30s. Whenever there's a conscious observer present, he causes a collapse of the wave function. Now, the wave function is a mathematical construct that describes the waviness of probabilities of events at the quantum level. And quantum physics is a set of equations that describe how this wave function behaves. When an observer looks at an experiment, he causes a collapse of this wave function. He destroys information. He basically starts the wave function from zero, and things have to start up again. So an observer right now has a chaotic effect in trying to describe or explain what goes on when a person is in the loop. Our physics right now is incomplete. We cannot deal with a consciousness affecting other physical objects in an experiment. We just don't know how to deal with it. So what you find is that most physics experiments keep observers out of the loop. They'll put a scientist outside the box. He gets to look in maybe at the end to see what the results were. But because his consciousness collapses the wave function, they don't let him in. It's like a bull in a china shop. He messes up their predictions, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, do you understand what he just said?
Yeah, he's basically saying that your mind, it could. I know what he's saying. I just lost my train of thought. It basically goes back to how important what you're thinking is. You think your reality. So he was giving an example about the scientist. He was basically saying certain people think that some experiments are going to fail and some are going to succeed. And he said, depending on the person, it may mess up the whole outcome of the experiment because of what they're feeling.
So in essence, what are they saying? Scientifically, what have they been saying? They're saying something that the ancients have been saying since the beginning of consciousness. Or
first principle.
Huh?
The first principle, mind is all. So if you think about it, you create what you want to bring.
Wait. Don't be trying to pull Kabayan up in here, all slide it up in here, talking about the first principle with slide up in here with the Kabayan first principles, man. Get up out of here.
Hey,
Basically,
I just said what they came to, because they talk about the first one's the most important one. If you think about it, it's true.
That's right.
It's like the placebo.
But everybody doesn't know. Everybody else may not have all the universal principles.
Well, I don't say I ain't got all the way through, but I feel like I understand it a little bit better.
No, not even all the way through. I'm just saying I'm not sure that everybody in here has even seen them or been introduced. But know that the first law of the universe is all is mind. These are the 7 laws, the 7 principles of Hermes. I mentioned that you guys should look these up. We're going to do a class on it, but we need to get.
If the person, bro, you just go online and listen. Like I'll suggest this: just go online and listen to it. If you can't pay for the book right now, just go online and listen to it while you're driving in the car or something like that. Then eventually get the book.
Right. However, having said that, I don't necessarily suggest that you listen to anybody else's. Always remember, you are God. And whenever you get information, you're going to get information that is distorted by the perception of the person giving the information, because they're going to give it to you how they got it and how they used it and their perception on it. So which is why I don't necessarily usually like liking to get information from people, or I don't like reading someone's book all the way through on a certain subject, because that's going to be mostly their perception on it. I read 5 and 6 books at a time. So I'll dip and boom, I'm going over here along with the 5 and 6 books. I'm also about 5 and 6 videos. So that's just how I learn. I'm not telling you guys how to do that. But
I got what you're saying, Kev. That makes sense.
So, right. So when you're listening to somebody else, they're gonna like there's a lot of people who feel that they understand the 7 laws of the universe, and they're gonna give them to you how they've used them in their life and how it's helped them, which is fine. That may help you. However, I say get the information first, get the principles down first, and then if you want to delve into how somebody else has used those principles and how it's helped them, then fine. But don't let anybody else's consciousness color your perception of information first. Always you get the information first, and then you can add to it. You can sauce it up. But right, so back to this. So he's right. So the first principle in the universe in the Kabbalion is all is mind, right? The universe is a mental creation of the all. Like there's one giant mind in the universe, and we're all within that mind. So, but right here, so he's saying that when they're on the experiments, he was saying the professor or whoever he is, the scientist, he was saying that when they go in, based on what the scientist believes, they're all affecting the experiment. So there's an ancient saying, simple saying, for what he's saying right now, for what the science is proving in the lab. What is that saying? You can say it in a different way. You don't have to say the exact same, but what are they saying right now? What are they basically saying? Consciousness and matter. What are they saying?
As above, so below.
Not
mind over matter.
Mind over matter, or
matter over mind.
Oh no, not matter over mind. He's on the right plane, but it's not necessarily mind over matter. It's what?
Mind is matter.
The frequency.
Everything is connected.
Mind and matter. Again,
we overthink.
Everything is created within the consciousness, within the mental consciousness. So mind is over matter, but matter comes from mind, so they're connected. So that's why the simple term is your consciousness creates your reality, right? So it goes back to Buddha. The mind is everything. What you think, you will become.
So as a man thinketh.
Right. So as a man thinketh, you know what I'm saying? The thinker will, as the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. All these different things, right? So it is your consciousness. And that's why a lot of people who believe in racism, you know what I'm saying, they'll see racism all the time when they go out there. But then you have some other people who don't necessarily see racism. They don't recognize it at all. They'll, you know what I'm saying? If you get some of them people like, man, somebody ever been racist to you? They'll be like, nah. They'll be like, why? Because they don't really focus on that. You know what I'm saying? There was a TV show that Ice Cube created back in the day called Black and White, where he had these two families, this black and white family living in the same house. And it was a black family, mother, father, and the son, teenage son, and then mother, father, and a white teenage girl. The white family was from Santa Monica. The black family was from New York. And but what happened was they were living in the house together, totally awkward, weird little setup. But then when they would go out, the white family would get dressed up like black people in black makeup, afros and shit. And
right,
then
I remember that.
They would walk out on the street, and then the black family would get dressed up like white people. This is dope. Y'all should check out again. Y'all should check it out. So
I watched the whole thing.
So one time they had the black dude and the white dude go out together, but they were dressed differently. So the black dude was dressed as a white guy and vice versa. So as they was going out, they wanted to see who, about racism, who was more racist. So as the black guy, but when they had him go out, they had one go out as themselves. So they had the white guy go out dressed up like a black dude, but they had the black dude as himself. So it was two black dudes. It looked like it was two black dudes, but the white guy was dressed as he was black. So as they were on the street, the black dude, he would see people kind of, moving away from him and stuff like that. And the other black dude, the white guy dressed as a black dude, he was like a, he's from Santa Monica, so this motherfucker's on some spiritual, everybody love everybody. So that's the type of mentality he had. He's walking around, everybody's, talking to him. Nobody's really shying away from him. And so they get back and he was like, I didn't see any racism at all. He was like, because you don't notice, and boom, 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 he's like, no, he's like, because I don't look for it like you do. He's like, you see racism because that's in your mind. You think white people gonna be racist, so you see it like that. And homeboy just could not understand in his mind that he was creating the racial energy that he was perceiving on the outside. What is like, he would walk around, he was very tense, and he's looking with a, this frowny face. And you know what I'm saying? His consciousness was creating his reality. Like, dude, your energy is preceding you. This white dude, he was going around, he was just, I'm happy to be alive. He was just, hey, nigga, life is great. And so that's the energy he was projecting, and people felt that energy proceeding from it. But, you know what I'm saying? So that's basically it. Your consciousness creates your reality.
We live in a world today where there's a hierarchy of power. There are very powerful people, and there are people with virtually no power at all. What's very important from a biological understanding is every human being is equally powerful in their creative ability to shape the planet. And then you say, well, if everybody is equally powerful, then how did other people gain so much more power? And here's the joke. They didn't gain any power. The reason they became more powerful is they took away the power from us. And that the evolution that we're experiencing right now is to recover that power, because when the entire population is possessing such power, there's more of a likely better resolution and harmony than a world today where only few people are exercising that power. And I really look forward to that evolution when we recover the power we've always had, which means going back and reprogramming our belief systems to own how powerful we are.
Human intention can significantly influence properties of materials and the nature of reality.
As early as 1957, Professor Hans Eysenck, then chairman of the psychology department at the University of London, wrote a letter insinuating that there was a gigantic conspiracy involving some 30 major universities all over the world and hundreds of highly respected scientists to silence the truth about what we knew about the powers of human consciousness.
You hear that? This dude wrote a paper on it, how there was a conspiracy between all these universities and some powers that be silence what your mind can do. These schools are full of shit.
After the United States Congress had access to the data from the Stanford Research Institute and from universities all over the country and all over the world, they were terrified of what would happen if we all developed the powers of our minds. It was clear that we could remote view, we could see into the future and into the past, we could find missing airplanes and anything you can imagine with our minds. And they actually did a smear campaign with the media to discredit what they had discovered, because they didn't want us to know how powerful our minds really are.
I want y'all to really sit and understand that right now. That may just float over some people. Like, oh, that's interesting.
No, I get what he's saying. Basically what he's saying. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, basically what he's saying is like, that they are paranoid that if you realize that you can do anything as possible with your mind, if you think it, you can achieve it, they ain't gonna be able to control you, because it's better in a way if you think you gotta rely on them to do certain things, or I can't do this or I can't do that, then they can kind of control you. But if you realize that your mind could go see stuff that happened in the past, or could predict the future of your outcome of your life, or just make something in general, you're gonna be limitless while they were trying to limit you.
Right, like the movie Limitless. Like there's a movie called Limitless. You guys should see that. It's dope, about this pill that used to.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
So, but the thing is, it's even deeper than that. You're right about that. First of all, you haven't even seen the experiments they're going to talk about deeper in the video. I'm going to click through a few of them in a minute. But you don't understand what's going on here. Like, I don't think you guys understand the severity.
They're probably more afraid of melanin people finding out too.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Melanin plus consciousness, that's dangerous.
First off, you gotta understand, dude, that this thing, they felt that this was so serious that they convened a conference on it. That means they had to spend money. They don't do shit. They don't spend money on anything unless it's worth something.
Top secret.
You gotta understand that money, when money is being spent, that means some shit. That means this is worth something. Caucasians don't spend money on shit that ain't worth nothing, right? So they had to spend money on this conference. All these scientists come up with, oh shit, your mind can do this, your mind can do that, your mind can do this. So then they write it in the findings. Whatever, any conference you have to write down the findings of whatever your experiments are and with the conferences. They submit this to Congress, not just Congress and the government. They go, oh hell to the motherfucking no. People can do this? Like, you mean the regular motherfucker who's delivering milk can do this? You mean a regular ass teacher can do this? And all they have to do is know that they can do it and then just sit and start practicing? Oh, hell to the motherfucking no.
Is that what they call like that flow state, Kev?
A what?
Flow state.
What do you mean?
There's a thing called the flow state, which is like a flow state of mind, which is kind of like, to describe it, it's like being in a zone. You know, like if you're playing hoop or something.
Right. Yeah, being in a conscious zone. But it's even deeper than that. All it is again, the only reason why. Okay, I'm gonna say this: if you went to the gym right now, say all of you probably went. You know what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys go to the gym or not, but I think it'd be fairly feasible to say that everybody in this class, if you went to the gym, you couldn't just jump on the bench press and start benching 300 pounds.
Right.
There may be some games who can do that, but most of us couldn't just walk in the gym and just start benching 300 pounds. It's like, nigga, like, watch out, nigga, move, nigga, I got this, nigga, back up.
I could.
Huh?
I could.
Somebody in here benching 300?
I'm just playing.
Oh, okay. Like, nigga, let me see that right now.
He's already limitless.
But how do you get to the point where you're able to bench 300 pounds?
Repetition. Practice.
By doing what?
Repetition and practice.
Repetition and practice. But how do you get to 300 pounds? What do you got to do first?
Start with smaller.
You got to start with smaller weights.
Gradually
keep lifting. That's it. That's all you got to do. That power that they're talking about is a muscle. And all you would have to do to develop it is just use it.
Oh, is that like when you were telling us with the synapse and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker as you damn?
Yes.
Yeah. Got you.
All you have to do is just start using that power. They were like, wait a minute, they can do this. The only reason they found it out was just because they did it. It was an experiment. They just decided, hey, let's try this, and it worked. Hey, let's try that, and it worked. You guys are gonna see. I'm telling you about it. Watch what they did.
What is the language of quantum communication? How does the universe communicate from subatomic particles, wavelets, superstrings, atoms, planets, to stars, galaxies, and all living beings? Is there a communicative symphony happening all the time that remains invisible to our current technology and awareness? What if we understood its secret? Oh my God, we would know how to talk to the Creator, nature, science, and each other, and interstellar civilizations. Are we in communication before we meet in person? How do we as human beings communicate with each other? How do we find our true love, life partners, our soul matches, our families, business partners, our careers, teachers, and life purpose? And how do we find God?
Hey, what's going on? I'm leaving you a message. I'm really starting to get worried that you haven't called me back. And I guess, you're not leaving me much of a choice. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I've been needing to tell you via voicemail, even though it makes me very uncomfortable to do that.
Yeah, heart disease, the body is not a separate entity, all its different parts just acting alone. There's a mind-body interaction that has a lot to do with the development of disease in general.
I just wanted to let you know that I can barely live without you. I was paralyzed a couple of days ago, and I don't know, I've never really had the courage to tell you that you're the one for me and I can't live without you.
Stress on the brain will cause output of energy into the body that affects all your organs. It seems that some people have the propensity to discharge brain stress into various parts of their body. And certain people channel their distress into usually one place. It's really ironic. Some people get back pain from stress. Some people get chest pains from stress. Some people get ulcers from stress. Some people get upper neck and headaches from stress. This is all channeled energy and distress from the brain going to various parts of the body and manifesting as physical findings and signs from essentially brain stress being channeled elsewhere. Because the brain, I think, has only a certain capacity to hold on to nervous energy, then it has to discharge it into the body. So there's a definite mind-body connection. A lot of people channel their stress into their heart, and we know that stress and adrenaline that's produced by stress goes into the heart and can affect the heart in an adverse way that can create abnormal heart rhythms, spasm of the arteries of the heart, and clogging up of the arteries of the heart due to adrenaline causing platelets, which are the blood clotting material in the body, to coagulate. Adrenaline does all that. And in addition to spasm of the arteries.
You see, the heart is an electrical organ. It produces by far the strongest source of bioelectricity in our body, up to 40 to 60 times stronger than the second most powerful source, which is the brain. This electrical energy travels through every single cell in our body and in a sense kind of binds the cells together. It's strong enough that it even can be detected outside the body, out into space, beyond the skin. It's not an aura that we're measuring when we do this or anything like subtle energy. What it is very measurable electromagnetic energy, much like radio waves. And what we found is that the heart produces an electromagnetic field that surrounds our entire body in 360 degrees. And then it can be detected about 3 to 4 feet with magnetometers outside the body. Researchers at the Manager Clinic in Kansas say they've detected it 10 to 12 feet. So regardless of how far it goes, what's interesting is that we produce this electromagnetic field that can be detected.
What are you talking about?
They're talking about melanin and
the electromagnetic field that your heart creates. This ain't nothing to do with melanin. I mean, all of your body works by melanin, but specifically,
frequency.
No, it's saying that your heart produces an electromagnetic field that surrounds your body 360 degrees, basically like a force field. And then it's detectable 3 to 12 feet away from your body. What is that called?
Your aura.
Your aura.
And it's detectable. So when they be talking about, when you see all this bull crap, when they try to clown the spiritual dudes, oh my aura is red. This is real shit, because they've shown they're detecting it in the lab. They're just not calling it the aura. They're calling it your electromagnetic field around the body.
Measured with sensitive mainstream medical equipment.
The human nervous system is an electrical energy system where positive and negative ions flow. We can even measure the surface electrical activity of the body at the fingertips using a simple voltage meter in the millivolt setting. Most human beings have far less than 1 volt total, regardless of where we measure along the body. The numbers oscillate due to the numerous electrical pulses in our nervous system. Testing hundreds of individuals, our study has shown that everyone has different voltages at different moments in their lives. Children tend to test around 1/4 of a volt, while adults can range anywhere between 0.5 and 31/100ths of a volt. If we are less than a 1.5 volt battery, how can we broadcast a powerful energy signature? And how can we hear a message that is meant for us?
The greatest mind control experiment the government ever did on us is tell us that our minds are not powerful. In the year 2009, I conducted hundreds of voltmeter tests on the human nervous system from age groups from, literally children to teenagers to middle years and to elderly years. I found that all human beings have different millivolt ranges in their nervous system. Our nervous system runs positive and negative ions throughout our body, through our hands and our feet and our chest. Our entire body is being energized by the central nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. People who have medical conditions such as severe depression or nervous system disorders such as MS have millivolt ranges that go between somewhere around 5 and maybe 9 millivolts. Now, to give you a comparison, the average person ranges between 50 or maybe even 30 and 100 millivolts. That's the average person in the average state of consciousness. A millivolt is 1/1000th of a volt. So our body is running between maybe 30 and 100 millivolts optimally. That's when we're really in our optimal range. If there was a way to raise the human body voltage, which is the electricity in our nervous system, to higher levels, that super athletes train to get their nervous systems up to 2 full volts per cell, which is 2,000 millivolts. What will happen to our consciousness? Will it be easier for us to project our thoughts to cooperatively affect our reality? Will it be easier for us to apply a stronger signal to the law of attraction? Think of a radio. You're trying to listen to your favorite song on the radio, and you can barely hear it because your radio doesn't have enough power. Well, your body is like a radio transmitter receiver. If you don't have enough energy in your system and you're trying to send thoughts out into the universe to cooperatively affect your reality, to attract your soulmate, to attract a business idea, to become more creative, and you don't have enough power in your nervous system, the chances of you manifesting your reality the way you want it to be are going to be much lower. So you need to increase your energy levels first, which you can do by meditation, and you can also do by using technologies like we're talking about here.
Now, did anybody else feel that? I'm gonna see if anybody else got the universe sent you the same vibration that it sent me. What did you think about when he was talking about that?
Go ahead.
Think about when certain things you speak or manifest by saying it out to the universe, and then if you do it at the, I guess, the right frequency or enough times, it will eventually happen.
Okay, well, let's go back. He said if you got a nerve disorder like MS, you're probably generating anywhere from 5 to whatever 20 something
5 to 9
right millivolts, right?
Millivolts, right? Yep.
Regular people 30 to 100 millivolts. Basically, so he's saying that you are this giant radio receiver, and depending on how much energy, electricity you got flowing through you, that increases your ability to either send radio waves or frequencies and receive, right? So, what is your melanin?
A conductor.
A conductor
of electricity.
A conductor of energy.
Well, yeah, energy.
Energy, frequencies, light, sound. It's all of that. So, if anybody remembered the experiment, I was telling you that, or the experiment that they did, when they run 200 volts on top of your melanin, anywhere from like 200 volts or something like that, it reaches the on stage. And remember, your melanin can go from off to on, like literally like a light switch. Like you walking from one room to the next. There's a dark, you walking from a dark room, literally you walk right to a light room. It goes on like that. So he's talking about, so he's saying basically, what if you had enough energy, you would be able to do this and do that and do this. You do. And so he was saying increase it by consciousness and stuff like that. Now, apply that to someone with melanin. Apply everything he just said about you being a receiver and all, and that's true for everyone, every single person in the universe. You're absolutely that. All of, no matter what, you know what I'm saying, and what your skin tone is.